responsible. Like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat. Like a hell. Like a Hellcat.
สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rumpet Chitanuwat, the Group Director from Informa Markets in Asia. Welcome everyone to the recap of the hot topics and trends in food and beverage industry. Today, together with me, you can see that we are promoting our first time online exhibition that is now online for the ProPack Asia, which is about the processing and packaging for food and beverage sector, and even for pharmaceutical and home care sector. So right now, if you have a chance after this webinar, you can attend in our online exhibition for ProPack Asia. That would be the first ever from Informa Markets in ASEAN that has the online exhibition. So today together with me, I have a lot of honorable guest speaker with me that they have shared in the 4 episodes that Food Ingredient Asia has bring to you with the topic of the update on the food and beverage industry in Thailand and the beverage sector in Indonesia and even the food safety, how to cope up with the post-COVID and also the trends, how Thailand gonna cope up in food service industry. And the last episode we was covering on the Innova Market Insight Study, what is going on after the pandemic in food and beverage sector. Don't waste your time now. So I'm going to introduce you to our panelists, which is the combination of the very well-known, the spokesperson from many organizations in the big country like Indonesia and the biggest exporting of the processed food country like in Thailand. So right now I would like to introduce you to our episode on the panelists recap on the hot topics and trends in food and beverage. First of all, may I introduce Mr. Visit Limlu Cha. He is the chairman of the Food Processing Industry Club of the FTI or the Federation of Thai Industry. And he also holds the position of the president of Thai Food Processor Association. Please, Mr. Visit. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับสวัสดีคุณโรส and good morning everyone nice to see you all
ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ so the next one I would like to introduce our spokesperson that he is with us for a couple of the episode already. So Mr. Adi Lukman, he is the chairman of Indonesia Food and Beverage Industry Association, or we all know under GAPMI. Terima kasih.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Rose.
Assalamualaikum. Yeah.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Rose. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you all today in the webinar under the FIA Asia, Food Ingredient Asia.
Yeah, for the next one, I think he is a very good friend of the professor, the Pa Adi. He is a professor, Dr. Purviyano Hariyadi. He is a professor at Department of Food Science and Technology and senior scientist, Southeast Asian Food and Agricultural Science and Technology, or we call CFAS, and he was former president of IAFT. Please, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. So Papu was covering earlier on the food safety sector. So now come to our Thai guest speaker, Assistant Professor Pisit Thammavithi. He is the Vice Dean and from the Faculty of Agriculture, Product Innovation and Technology from Srinakarin Virod University. Please.
ครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ
สวัส
ทุก
ดี
ท่านนะค
ค่ะ
รับ
อาจารย์
ครับ Good morning everybody okay thank
And
you
the last one, our I would say like my lady friends here from this webinar because the rest are all guys. So Miss Irene Kernsbergen, she is from Innova Market Insight from Asia Pacific. Yeah. Irene, hi.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's really a pleasure being here again. Yeah, joining in this panel discussion. Yeah, good morning, everyone.
All right, thank you for all 5 panelists that stay with me today. We are going to have about 1 hour and 20 minutes together. Right now, we have about 300 participants online and about nearly 100 on the YouTube link. So right now, I will start for the first question that I would say there is a lot of questions that we pull together when we do the pre-register. The first question go to Mr. Visit Lim Luchar on the expected growth on food and beverage in Thailand, Mr. Visit.
Yeah. Can you see the picture now?
Yes.
Okay, I will explain this chart. In 2019, ASEAN export make the value of 45,000 million of food and beverage to global market with a 5% expanding rate. And the top 3 products that make the highest income are fruit products that including chilled, frozen, dry, prepare or preserve that made 8,000 million at 18% share by the total value, and followed by the 7.7 thousand millions or 17% of food preparation, and followed by 13% of ready to eat. This one is very important. Ready to eat, the value is at 6,000 million. And then I will show another chart. Excuse me, another chart. The product from fruit hits. The product from fruit hits the highest growth rate at 25%, and followed by 14% from sugar and confectionery, and 10% expanding of vegetable products that including frozen, chilled, and dry, and also prepare and preserve. And then rice and seafood products were shrinking at 23% and 1% of value. And in this chart, the first 4 months in 2020, the total export value was 12,000 million, 23% shrink of the value compared to the same period in the 2019. And only 2 groups of the products are expanding, that is meat products, that is the number of growth is 1%. The ready to eat, the most needed product in the pandemic situation, hit the highest export value at about 2% share, increasing by 2019. The major factors on this was the international logistic constraint and social distancing policy caused the lacking of workforce to handle the job. It is very difficult to predict the future value on this stage. The key variation depends on the global pandemic situation. And we hope that the economic will soonest recovery after COVID. Thank you.
Thank you, Khun Visit. I think this is follow in the trend that I think 5 of you already shared in earlier episode, that people are looking for the more healthy products. That's why the fruit sector also growing, and also ready to eat is growing because people are more staying at home and social distancing. That trend is still continuing. So let's hear from Indonesia. Pak Adi, do you have any idea on the growth of F&B sector in Indonesia?
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Rose. I think due to the COVID pandemic, of course, impact to all sectors, including food and beverage industries. Fortunately, still until May this year, our food exports still increasing compared to January, May last year. May I share some data with you?
Please.
So you can see the export of food product is still increasing compared to January, May last year. Total export Indonesia for food is around 11.5 billion US dollar, January, May 2020, compared to last year, 10.5 billion US dollar. And if that is including the CPO and palm oil. And if we talk about the semi-processed and processed foods, we can see the total export January until April, our export 2.5 billion US dollar. This is on exclude CPO. That's 11.5 include CPO. Last year, our export total semi-processed and processed food is around 7.5 billion US dollar. If we see the January, April to 2020 compared to last year's, we can see also the still increase last year, January, April 2.2, this year 2.4 billion US dollar, still increasing. And this is the new report, total export Indonesia until June. This is the just released yesterday. In total, we still increase the export non-oil and oil sector, but for the non-oil sector, still below the last year export. But the balance trade positive. We can see this data in February, March, we have a balance trade total export import, and May and June also positive. And our main destination export is China, and then Japan, Singapore, and US. Last year, China, US, Japan, and India. So there is a changing of export destinations in total. Maybe this is about the export import of food and beverage product, Rose, and maybe we will discuss further after other speakers.
All right, I saw one slide. Pa Adi is on the relationship of Thai and Indonesia. Seems like Thailand still export a lot to Indonesia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be a good opportunity that we can further discussion. I hope it can be the network between
frankly speaking, Rosa, we still have a negative balance, a big negative balance between Indonesia and Thailand. So you export a lot of food products. Yeah. Yes. So it's big balance, negative balance with Thailand. It's a very good performance from Mr. Visit.
So this is a good chance that we know each other, and
so we have to work together, Mr. Visit, to explore the market for the global value chain.
Anything, Kun Visit, ka?
Yes, I think we can do more business together. We may have to find what kind of products from Indonesia we can import, maybe for more production, or we can share our market together, because now ASEAN we can say that we are in the same region, and we can help each other. Thank you, Mr. Adi.
All right. So I come to the next question. It will go to Dr. Pisit and Pa Pur. It's on about the effect on the anti-globalization on Asian ingredients. In meaning, I know Papu work a lot about oil, palm oil from Indonesia, and Mr. Pisit also working a lot on the alternative ingredient that would happen in Asia. Come to Dr. Poo, any idea on negative impact or is very attractive impact on this anti-globalization on Asian ingredients?
Okay, anti-globalization. This is a big topic and related to many factors. But specifically, in my opinion, due to the pandemic situation, as we know that many countries has adopted what called as a lockdown policy, which reduce the basically minimizing the movement, including the movement of people, encouraging people to stay home, for example. And at the extreme, some country even order the closure of national border and a closure of business activity as well. So that's probably also have impact on the anti-globalization because many countries now focusing on their domestic need. So first thing first, they need to ensure that domestic need can be guaranteed. So that's probably one of the factors. However, have you specifically mentioned about the ASEAN ingredient? You mentioned about palm oil. You mentioned about some of the traditional alternative ingredient. Because this is new and this is scientifically new, not previously known by many other countries. I think this is has a specific challenge for us in Asia, how to introduce this kind of material, this kind of ingredient in a scientific literature, in the scientific community as well, and then publish so that people will understand. Because if you don't understand, then there is also potentially to create some fear. Something that are new usually is not very well known, and then it's very easy for people who don't understand will be more careful in a way, but also have some fear about the potential negative impact of it. So I think the key is, in my opinion, scientific. Need to be scientific base of that product need to be enlarged, need to be developed further, so that including the information about the long history of safe use of that particular ingredient in ASEAN. So it need to be more disseminated so that people will have some higher level of confidence in using it, because historically we don't have problem in terms of safety or in terms of other negative consequence of using that kind of ingredient. So this is very important in my opinion.
I think the pandemic also affect even in higher level for people in more conscious on choosing the products.
Yes, that's right. And that's, in my opinion, just want to add the importance of, I'm now active in Codex Alimentaris Commission. So this is a very important body to assure that, first of all, ensuring the food safety aspect of the ingredient. And the second, which is also very important, ensuring the fair practices in the food trade. So it's not because of anti-globalization movement, but if they choose to refuse, for example, it's because of the food safety reason, scientific reason that can be justified. Thank you very much. Over.
I come to Dr. Pisit. Any idea on the same topic from the technology and R&D perspective and scientific perspective?
Right. Okay, I would like to show you for the slide. Okay, just a little bit. This one. Okay, from the question about the anti-globalization is, in my opinion, I think is quite very attractive, okay, for Asian country. Why? We have to encourage you to come back to the assumption about the anti-globalization. They're talking about the anti-globalization in terms of the fairness and the sustainability. Okay, why? Because the several countries, they concern more about the sustainability and under the UN direction. So if we're talking about the sustainability and survive of the people, okay, we can boost up the opportunity of the Asian country, okay, in terms of the emerging market, for example, like a national market or including the regional market as well. So this is a new chain. Why we talking about the new value chain? Because the global value chain a little bit changed because of the pandemic. Why? The Western country still have a lot of the new cases every day. And then this is the opportunity of the Asian country that we can produce and we can create the new value chain. This slide will show you about the trend of the ingredient that if we look at all of these trends, we can see the transparency, healthy, and the people concerned more about the healthy and safety and the indulgence and related about the botanical and organics and free from. That all of ASEAN countries, we already have this thing, but we have to create together to bring it up as a new value chain. Kun Rose. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. It is very clear from 4 panelists already mentioned about the growth that in terms of the food sector still under like more on the products that we are in a global-based country, whether Indonesia or Thailand. That is the starting point that how we can create the competence of our region. So now come to the Innova market. They have done a lot of research and trend. Irene, can you share with us about what is really changing the consumer behavior during this COVID, and also how the healthier things that we are talking about, the organic or the food safety, is show up in your research and study?
Yeah, I definitely also agree with the other panelists saying that health it's just such an important factor now in what consumers are looking for. I will also like to share a slide just explaining this a little bit further. Let me see. I hope this is all visible for everyone. So
yes.
Yeah, within Innova, we do a lot of market research studies, also consumer panel studies. And in this slide, it just shows and explains a little bit further in how the consumer behavior or factors that consumers find important nowadays during COVID-19 has changed. So before the situation, before COVID-19, we asked in a consumer study, and here we see the average of countries, India, China, and Indonesia. We ask, when you are buying food and beverage products, what factors are most important to you? So that's what we see here on the horizontal axis. So on the right side of the slide is really the big factors of importance before the COVID-19 crisis. But then we asked end of March, when it was really at the top, I think the first wave top of COVID-19, how these factors have really changed. So what is becoming more important when buying food or beverage products, and what has become a little bit less important perhaps. And here we see definitely health aspects. So on the vertical axis, the more it's up on the top of the slide, the more important it becomes. So health aspect is really the most important factor within what people are buying nowadays. So this really has changed in consumer behavior. But we also see here, of course, we have health aspects, So really on the top of the vertical axis. But also what was mentioned before is something like ethical aspects, although it is not a key factor when buying something, it has definitely become more important to consumers as well. And we are seeing that back in that study in March, the COVID-19 consumer study, that people now with the crisis, they are more buying local products, also supporting their community. And that is also part of this ethical aspect. So we definitely see differences that people are now choosing more healthy products. Could be a balance of indulgent goods with a healthy aspect, or also still fruits and vegetables. And of course, also shelf life has become more important now because, well, in March, everyone was quite in shock. What is happening with COVID-19? Preparing their pantry, really, making sure they have all the food and beverage products in the house for if maybe the supermarkets or the market would close down. So that's why we see that shelf life, also cost. Afraid that people would lose their job and have less money to spend, and health aspects are really the key important things that were already important but have become more important nowadays. Thank you.
Irene, can I ask you to touch a bit on the brand, which is a big bubble as well?
Definitely. Let's see. So here we have brand as well. So if we see on the horizontal axis, it was already quite an important factor when consumers are buying something. But now when it changed in factors, it become a little bit more important. And what I think is the main reason behind this, that it's a certain type of trust in a brand. Because if you would always go for the same brand and like food safety is good, it's safe to eat or to drink, you would more likely stick with that brand in a moment of crisis, just to be sure on the safety side that this brand product brings. So really, the loyalty that brings trust.
All right, thank you. I just want to set the tone of the next question, that if you can see from the study and sharing from our panelists here, the moving forward of the industry as people are more concerned on their health, but the brand is also important because the food safety is one aspect that you have to create the trust on your brand. So now I want to hear from Mr. Visit, because Thailand is named as the quality of products. That's why we get the Thailand brand, and many countries already accept the Thailand brand. However, there is the new norm situation happen after this pandemic. Mr. Visit, how is the food and beverage strategies that you think we should prepare and welcome this new norm for our export market and even for domestic consumption?
Sorry, I forgot to turn on the microphone. During the pandemic, brings people concerned to their health the most. So the food manufacturers are aware that food and beverage are the essential factors to support the life being, to stay safe and healthy. And usually, we can say that a lot of people is staying at home, work from home. How many times you open the refrigerator a day? So at the first stage, I think many people open the refrigerator more than 10 times a day, because you just work at home and easy to open the refrigerator. So after that, after maybe 1 week, people will have more concern what you eat every day, because maybe you eat too much or something. Also, we have done our regular practice in our production also to make people to be sure that the food products from the production line is clean enough for the health and also in the COVID situation. So we have the more hygiene and food safety program in the factory. We have more intensive care program to apply in the factory. Some factory, we separate our workers into 2 or 3 shifts. Just in case if someone infected, so we can stop that shift and quarantine for 14 days and another shift work instead like that. The increasing of hygienic program in the factory, for example, workers health screen prior entering the production area, or more frequency wash and sanitize machine and also hand, because everybody, most of the, I think most of the workers should wear not only the mask but also the glove. The processing equipment will be cleaned more frequently. The production line management, we are trying to comply with the social distancing policy also. And manage also another one important thing is that how to manage the traffic route in the production area to prevent contamination. And furthermore, the emergency plan procedure is have to train. We have to train our workers on the level of employee, so that all the product will be optimized and safely handled when facing the unfortunately situation. This is what we have done in our production. Thank you.
So FTI group also do some program with the food producer, right?
Yes, because most of our buyers are asking for more procedure, and we can confirm that every producer must have this kind of procedure, and we can confirm with our consumer, our buyers abroad.
Yeah, so Kun Visit has taken the role of the chairman of the food industry club from FTI, and also he is also the president of the Thai food processor. So his role is in a way to talking to the government and also encourage the food processor to do the proper program to bring the quality of products to the market. So right now I will stay with Thailand first. That may I ask Dr. Pisit to share on the R&D and scientific perspective, that how you think what we do to prepare whether academic and even the scientific and R&D to cope up with the situation on adjustment of the food entrepreneurs. Doctor Ka?
Right. For the question that the food processor, they have to concern, because the consumer, they concern more about the health and safety from the food. And normally we eat food, just only food. But at this time, I think the people think more about the food is not only normal food. They concern more about the health. So it's not only the normal food they wish to have. They're seeking to have like a health food and functional food in further. Why? Because the food is not only the things that we can eat. They thinking about their immunity system. The immunity system of food that we have a lot of research. For example, like several ingredients in Thailand and together in Indonesia. We have a lot of herbs, a lot of spice, and including about some vitamin from fruits and vegetables. This one, the research should do about the health concern, that they can get the benefit from the food, okay, the health food and functional food also. I think this one is a starting point of the Asian country and including Thailand and Indonesia to study about the functional ingredient that can boost up the immunity system of the human health people. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for the role of academics, of course, there will be a lot of study while in parallel that the entrepreneur have to develop and prove that products can be launched in the market and serve as the customer demand. So no doubt that academic and private sector has to work together.
Right.
So now I want to hear, unfortunately, Indonesia is still under the ongoing with the COVID spread, that I want Pa Adi to share how's the situation now and what is the strategy that GAPI or even the ministry working together to put the strategy cope up with the post-pandemic.
Okay, thank you, Rose. I will share again with some. Well, because of the pandemic in Indonesia, you know, the household consumption growth is dropped a lot from usually around 5%. Now is the consumption growth only 2.8% in the first quarter 2020. And of course, this impact to the F&B industry, including the declining of the activity and also jobless and some activities cancel. So this is an impact to the sales, of course, in the total. But in certain commodity and product, still good sales in like spices, herbs, cooking oil, and others, flour and instant food, nutritional foods. Of course, the e-commerce and it's increasing the sales. I agree with Irene that food safety is a center of attention in the consumers and the changing of consumer behavior. This is just some survey. I recap from some survey. The food safety factor is very important during the pandemic COVID, and also packaging. Packaging become an important element in extending shelf life and also food safety, because you know we have to use a plastic bag to cover. We have a premier packaging, secondary packaging, and also third-tier packaging to deliver the foods during the pandemic. And of course, the availability and food safety is the main factor for the consumers as a consideration to buy the product. So this is maybe the brand loyalty become the second or third considerations, because the first consumers, when they go to the shop, they will check the safety and availability of the product. When the favorite brand is not available in the store, and then the consumers not easy to change another brands as far as the available and safety. And of course, in the manufacturing also, we impact to the manufacturing. Now is because of the less of human-to-human contact, as Mr. Visit mentions. Now some medium big manufacturers try to make a human machine interface program for make to secure the food safety and also the physical distancing, to make a more physical distancing. And government already has some guidelines for implementing the health protocol and physical distancing. And soon we also work together with the Ministry of Industry to release the guideline for new normal in F&B industry, specific for the food and beverage industry. This is my sharings. We do hope will give a beneficial for the food and beverage industry to secure the food safety factors and also to secure the product available in the market. Thank you.
So right now the restaurant and the hotel already open for service in Indonesia.
Yes, already open, but health protocol should be implemented in the restaurant and hotel. Unfortunately, now the decision in the consumers. Some consumers worry, fears to go to the restaurant, and very limited consumers go to the restaurant. So this is we have to secure the food safety and also the health protocol to make consumers' confidence come to the restaurant. This is very important.
All right. So I remember what you said, that there is a drop in the consumption of the people due to the majority of the people in Indonesia, they are dining out in the past.
Yeah, less dining out now.
Okay.
Less dining out.
So come to Dr. Poor. Dr. Poor, any idea on the development and strategies moving toward the R&D to support the food and beverage sector? Dr. Poor?
Yes, thank you very much. I think all of the panelists has emphasized the importance of food safety. I think this is very important, and I would like to share some of the my thought of that because this is very important in my opinion. FAO, for example, has emphasized that if it is not safe, then it is not food. So first thing first, safety has to be in place. So with that, I would like to share some slide. Oops, sorry. I'll do that. Okay. So if we're talking about managing of food safety in the era of COVID-19 and also in the era of new normal, where we still don't have vaccine available. First thing first, in my opinion, is that we have to realize that actually COVID-19 is a major threat to the public health. That's that first thing. So that we need to have a measure in place to protect the food worker, because they are the one that ultimately who are responsible in producing food for us. So we have to secure that they will be able to work effectively and safely. So the people working hard to produce food need to be kept safe, healthy and safe. So this is very important in my opinion. So we have to have guidance, we have to have a protocol to assure that they will be keep healthy and safe. So having said that, there is several guidance that are available now. I'm referring to the guidance published by FAO and WHO on the guidance for food business, including online business and everything else. So this is a very, very good guidance. So I would like to encourage food industry all over to study this and to apply this as much as possible. Basically, there are two things that need to be done. Number one is the strengthening worker safety protocol. Adi mentioned about the health protocol, for example, to assure the safety of the worker. And number two, to strengthen the basic prerequisite of the food safety. So this is very important because we don't want to have outbreak within the outbreak itself. So we are experiencing a big outbreak related to COVID-19, so we don't have additional outbreak related to food safety. So this is something that need to be done. After that is a routine, basically establishing a food safety management system as a principle, and then again strengthening or enhancing the prerequisite program good agricultural practices, good handling practices, and so on. Basically, this is the thing that need to be done, and this need to be communicated as well to the consumer, so that the consumer have a high level of confidence that they are having or buying safe food. So this is very important. So in this case, I would like also to stress that currently the Codex text that are available is a Codex principle of food hygiene. So this is very much a basic text that need to be applied in the food industry. And just to update you that this text is currently being revised. So I would like also to invite you to check that newest latest document to make yourself updated. So, and with respect to functional food, herb ingredient, I think that's our opportunity, because we are rich in that kind of ingredient. So we need to work not only with industry, but also with government to provide environment, regulatory environment to promote the use of the local and indigenous ingredients that are already historically being used in our society, and also have provided health benefit that experienced by the people. So this is very important. This is when I talked before, we need to communicate it about this, not only to our own consumer, but also other worldwide consumer, because we are talking about the potential for international trade. Thank you, Offer.
Dr. Poo, can you stay with me for a bit of the live question that just come in just now, that they want to know, like, from whatever you explained about the Codex regulation, there is some change, some update. Do you foresee that the regulation is related to the export products will change again after the pandemic in the overall picture?
Thank you very much. So, Codex tax or Codex standard is basically established based on science, on a scientific principle. And as we know, related to food safety, COVID-19 is actually not directly related to food safety, because this is several risk assessment has been done. For example, like from US FDA, European Food Safety Authority, mentioning that COVID-19 is not a foodborne disease. So this is the very basic idea, meaning that there is no change in terms of food safety science, science of food safety, meaning that also there is no need to revise the existing food safety standard as of now. What we need to change is how we doing in achieving the current standard, the food safety standard. The food safety standard is still there, the regulation is still there, but the way we are trying to achieve to comply that standard has to be changed related to the COVID-19. For example, we cannot do it in a shoulder to shoulder with each other, for example, because we need to have physical distancing. So we have to adapt to that kind of changes, but the standard itself related to international trade, as you mentioned, is not changed as of now. Thank you very much. Over.
All right, I have heard a bit from many webinars that the nature of working in a factory is like shoulder to shoulder. Now they have to keep distance, and automation become as a big role. So now we'll have the question on this is kind of thing that the investment has to be done. So question to Mr. Visit on what is the perspective work with the industry to really help them to achieve or pass through this pandemic, the social distancing, working, in general perspective of the chairman of Food Industry Club. How is your idea? How is you going to say to to tell the industry that the opportunity is there. It's just how we gonna overcome. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's a time to change because this COVID make us a big disruption. Also, not only for other business, also in food business, because we have to have a social distance even in the factory. So the best solution for the production is that we have to use more machine in the factory, and we need to invest the automation. In which part you can invest, in which part that the machinery can take place, we need to invest, because this is not only for the COVID, but in the long run, you will gain by this investment, because in Thailand we have we will face the aging society very soon. People will have the age more than 60 in the next 5 years. I think about 25-30% of the population. So we cannot find more workers to work in the industry. So the machine is very important now. The automation is very important now. Yeah, I like to share like this. Thank you.
The question from live, Kun Visit, can you share a bit to the audience here that any things that Thai government bring into support during this COVID for the food manufacturer?
Yeah, at least the first thing that our government did is that they have some program, some campaigns to help the people that they cannot work, or they don't have enough money. Our government pay some money for them to live their life, to buy food like that. So in the food industry, we still can sell also easy food and not expensive one. Also, the restaurant changed their mind, not only have a seat in a restaurant, but they can adjust themselves to deliver their goods by the new application of food delivery. Now it's very popular in Thailand. We can just only have your application on your phone, and you can find a lot of food, many kinds of food, and order only 30 minutes. They will coming into at your home. So this is the way of change in food industry in Thailand. We need more easy step. We need more social distance. So everything we need to adjust to the situation, and not only this situation. I think after this, when people is familiar with the application, they will order and order more and more. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So now come to the sorry. Now come to the question. I think my video has some issue. So come to the question while we are waiting for seeing my picture. Anyway, the other panelist is there. So I will raise question to Ms. Eileen and Dr. Pisit due to they have done a lot of study on market side and academic side on the consumer trend that is effect on the I would say they see the movement, how people cover how is the consumer behavior such there are more of convenience store buying or e-commerce buying. Let Irene, can you share a bit on the trend of consumer that the study have shown on the purchasing pattern or even the product preference? Irene.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's of course just a lot going on. Consumers don't want to go to the supermarkets a lot nowadays. Definitely since March, yeah, people are just afraid to be contaminated with COVID-19. And of course, due to the lockdowns and what we see is happening, is a lot of change in consumer behavior regarding foods and beverages and consumption. Let me just share a slide here. All right. So in this consumer study we conducted, we also asked like, yeah, what is the biggest impact on attitudes and behaviors towards foods and drinks? So what has really changed in how we deal with food? And it was quite interesting to see. Here we see for India, China, and Indonesia, the top three behaviors or attitudes that have changed, that our consumers now doing more of. And we see quite a lot of similarities. So of course, well, as already was mentioned, restaurants were closed, or even now that they are open, still a lot of consumers are a little bit hesitant going out. And we see here in the top three that consumers are doing more home cooking, so preparing homemade food, eating healthy. We see again here in the top three. So in different ways, they are just increasing health when consuming food and beverages. And also quite notable here is eating and drinking products that boost my immune health. So really the immune system. So in the basics, yeah, what consumers are doing is cooking more at home. So going less to the supermarket, maybe buying more at once, or going to online stores to get their groceries, to really prepare homemade foods, and really focusing on the health of their own health and the ones of their family members. And then focusing on really boosting immune health, staying healthy. And I think that is really the key in what we are going to see after COVID-19 as well, so in the new normal. Everyone wants to stay healthy, remain healthy, and really work on their immune system to, well, don't get infected with COVID-19, just to stay safe. And I just want to, just in the same light, just want to highlight two innovations that I also presented last time. But I think it's just very interesting to see what is already happening in the market related to new product innovations that enter the market, focusing around immune health. So here we see three examples of new product innovations from these three different countries. So first of all, on the left side is one thing that we are seeing a lot now. So the use of functional ingredients. So it was already mentioned by Pa Pisit and and Mr. Poor that there's a lot of healthy ingredients, functional ingredients that can be applied to new product innovations and really focus on immune health. So also telling the story around a product. So this product here on the left side is using turmeric. Also, I've seen at different restaurants or coffee bars that they now have the golden latte with turmeric inside. That is explicitly saying that it's like anti-corona, so that it's good for just staying healthy. But yeah, there's already new product innovations that is really saying, okay, we have this product because it boosts your immunity to stay healthy. And then here on the slide, the second and the third product examples here of new innovations is quite interesting as well. So really a new trend in health and wellness is the co-branding, so collaboration with food brands and supplement brands. So the one in the middle here from China, it's a collaboration of a very well-known medicine brand in China. And they work together with this ramen talk brand, and they launched a new product. And I also, here on the slide, if you see the picture of the product, it looks also a little bit like a supplement type of product, but it's actually a ramen noodle. And it's, again, really focused on that it's boosting your immune system with specific ingredients. So it's made with golden chrysanthemum, but also different flowers, goji berries, so all kinds of super healthy ingredients that are being applied. And also here on the right side is a new product from Product Innovation launched in Indonesia. Again, this co-branding like this of a supplement brand and a food brand. And they have this new type of herbal tea, also focusing that it has ginger root, which is also one of the key ingredients that can boost your immune. And just all about being, having a healthy immune system. And then in this case, also a refreshing, comforting type of food. So that's really a key trend what we are seeing. Yeah, thank you.
All right, Irene. So now I would say that the catch up that I can get from here is for sure people look for healthy, people look for fresh, but to have the fresh product that is safety is not the quite an easy one, except you do at home. So for the assignment to the food industry, you have to make the product that consumer look for fresh food, safe food, and also convenience to have it. That's what the Innova Market would summarize from your study, right? So now come to Dr. Pisit ka. I know that you have done some research on the consumer behavior in Thailand regarding to food service. Can you share to us?
Right. I would like to share with you. Okay, I will show the slide. Okay, I will show you for the research that we try to have done in Thailand, okay, in few months ago. And this one is data from Statista that the people in this one is a survey in May. The people purchase more online, but I think these results, I think most of people understand why the people purchase more online, because everyone have been locked down at that time. So it's same with our study that the top 5 spending during the COVID-19 in Thailand, that they spend a lot of money for the e-commerce at that time. And the second one for the supermarket, because the supermarket, they spend a lot of money for the food and fresh food and necessary things in supermarket, and the food delivery as well, and Bombay and fast food. And this one, I think, is quite very important things that before, during, and after COVID-19. This one, I think we understand more about the people, what they think about. For the before COVID-19, okay, they concern more about the supermarket. They spending a lot of money for the supermarket. But for during COVID-19, the supermarket a little bit lower. But the e-commerce and food delivery is quite big, increasing. Okay, if you look at the food delivery and e-commerce, for example, like a food delivery is quite huge number of increasing. These show us about why we have to understand these behavior of the consumer, that if we understand more why in Thailand now we have the new entrepreneur to have the like a new player for the food delivery, such as the Robinhood and KBTG, that the new one, the new guy for the food delivery agency in Thailand. And for the after, food delivery is still high, and for the e-commerce still a little bit lower, but still higher than before COVID-19. Okay, for the data that show the consumer concern more about the online market, and the health is one of the factor that they concern. What the effect from the COVID-19, this one is income is quite very important, that they feel that the effect from COVID-19. From previous study and this one, okay, we have to understand if they concern about the online market, okay, and income is quite impact for their life. If we want to develop the product or we want to have the new solution for the people, what kind of product or the solution that the people concern about the health, safety, and online and income. This one is a factor that we have to concern about the people in Thailand. Okay, thank you, Kulos.
Thank you. It is quite a good wrap up to my next question to Kun Visit. Actually, that there is a lot of trend that people will buy through e-commerce, will buy through convenience store. So Kun Visit, I wanted to ask about your idea about the trend or adjustment in related probably the packaging or the innovation that food industry should be adopt to. So can you give your comment or advice on that?
Yes, the packaging will be more important during this situation because we will have more delivery products. We will have more package to send by mail. So most of the packaging now that is, I think we in domestic and also the international shipment of the most of the product, we need the package from paper. Yeah, but of course, when we talk about processed food, the most important one is still can, because when we pack our food in can, we can make sure that our food can keep a very long time, up to 3 years. So, and also it's easy to ship, easy to transport around the world. And when we produce this kind of food, we can sell to anywhere in the world because they can keep for a long time and also easy for transportation. But in the past 4-5 years, plastic also used more in the food production because it's easy to see what is inside. The manufacturer can show how clean of the product, how fresh, or even the color and the quality we can see from outside. But in the COVID situation, I can say that paper we use a lot, but this one also our target to tell the people that how we use the paper and how we do about the waste from the paper also. So many manufacturers are now thinking about the reusable one, or but reusable maybe not for the package that contact to the food, but outside, and also the paper that made from maybe vegetables or something. You can see that some manufacturer can show that even after you eat your food inside, you also eat the package also. Like this. This is a change in the packaging.
I want to ask one question because come on live. This is the like the question. I also want to hear from the chairman of Food Industry Club FTI. Can you share the tip why Thailand can be number 11 food exporter in the world?
Yes, uh, this question is very good because Thailand, if we compare to other countries that they export a lot of food, we can say that the first thing we have enough raw material, not only for domestic consumption, we have more to produce and ship to other countries in the world. This is the first answer. And the second one, we have a lot, many countries that we already have FTA, a free trade agreements. So we can import many kinds of raw material to produce food in Thailand. And after that, maybe we export or we have a domestic consumption ourselves. So we can say that our food security is very good now. At least we have the first thing enough for our own people, and we can share to other countries in the world. And the second one, not only enough, but our government try to help people to access, to have ability to access to food. Maybe they have some campaign to have some work for people, and maybe have some money to help poor people to reach to access the food. And now we can say that not only two things that we are concerned, but also the nutrition. We are now talking about nutrition. We try to say that after the COVID, the products that very important is we can show that what nutrition inside inside our food, or how food can help or maintain the function of your body. This is very important after this. As I heard Irene also say about this, I confirm that this one is very important. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have one question to Kun Visit to continue on. There is a lot of tension now in USA, right? So do you see any effect on our food export on that?
Yeah, I can share this one slide that yeah, I hope everyone can see this already. The overview of Thailand food and beverage export market in 2019 decreased 1% of value, but there were several factors to downsize the export income, such as strong baht currency, drought, or lack of raw material. The Thai food operators try to create new products to find more new markets and expand also the e-commerce market. And in this chart, we can show you that what is happening in 2019. That is, we have some tension between US and China. We can export more rice. We can export more sugar, but the figure of seafood is dropping down. Yeah, and one kind of product that I shared earlier is that we can sell more fruits. This is not only in the COVID situation, but before that, we sell a lot of fruits from Thailand. Also, the beverage and juice, the number increased from last year and also this year. The sauce and the soup also increased, and also the pantry cook also increased. This one, I think I can share some pictures of what is happening and what have changed in the market between when we have a tension between China and US. Thank you, Khun Ross.
This is my question. I really wonder because I run one of the webinar. They are just the speaker informing that Thailand now has opportunity to export to China already for poultry meat. Can you share a bit on that?
Yeah, I can, may I share another time? This is a product from Thailand to China. You can see that the highest increase is fruits, because this one is because after China faced the COVID, they need more healthy food to have maybe during the pandemic, and also to keep their health still good. So we can sell a lot of fruits, and also even the logistic from Thailand to China, we got some problem at some time, but we can export more. Not only the fruit one, another products that we can sell to China more is meat products. So these two kinds of food to China is growing because in China they need more need more healthy product, and also need more protein. Right. Okay. Thank you.
All right, I would add a bit to Kun Visit that it's probably because of China face a big issue of the African swine fever. So they are looking for meat product from outside. Luckily that Thailand passed the certification to export product. So now come to Pa Adi for Indonesia. Pa Adi, I know that you have import export a lot with China and USA. Can you share with us on the effect of the tension that happened from China and US? Anything that
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rose. Maybe I will share. Sorry. Okay. If you see this data to China, our export last year is 420 million US dollar. This is a semi-processed and processed foods. And until April is 125 million US dollar. We still import a lot from China, so we still have a minus balance with China. And sorry for US, I don't prepare it. I will share later.
No problem.
Yeah.
So I just like a general question on the tension that happened with the big guys. But anyway, Indonesia also big, number 4.
Yes. This US, China, and Japan is the big three country trading partner with Indonesia. So this is a very important countries partners with, and maybe I will talk about some question from the participants. There are I already answered some questions for the export import. One question is about any changing in regulation because of COVID. maybe as far as I know, some countries already limit the export of food and food products due to they make to ensure the food security in the countries. So according to the FAO reports, around 17 countries already limit the export of food products. So this is the very important to know this. So like your question to the Prof for the anti-globalizations, maybe because of the COVID, some countries now make food security first for the countries. This is so every countries have to aware that it will be happen.
Yeah, in this situation, it's come to the next point that every country must have the national food security policy already,
Yes,
that
yes.
to secure
Yeah.
food for their population.
Yeah. And some countries also implement the new regulation for logistics. When the product arrive in the countries, should have incubation times around 14 days before they distribute the product to the market, because they will ensure that no contamination from end product. Even though the WHO also already announced that no evidence contamination COVID-19 through the product itself. Maybe Prof. We can explain more about these matters. Prof.
Yeah, please, Papu, you can add up from what Adi mentioned now.
Yes, thank you very much. I think, as I mentioned before, because this COVID-19 is really unprecedented, affecting a lot of aspect of life, including business life, food industry, and so on. And people don't have experience so much in this pandemic situation. So they're trying to do whatever they can do, and including closing the border and stopping the flow of people, and sometimes also flow of goods. So this is need to be really considered, because scientifically, the risk assessment that has been done, like by FAO, WHO, and also many other food safety authoritative body around the world, mentioning that the COVID-19 is not a foodborne disease, meaning that they will not spread through food. So this is very important. So if we do a measure, unnecessary measure, for example, trying to hold the good for 14 days, in my opinion, is even counterproductive, because ultimately people need the food. Yeah, food is very essential to boost the immune system. So if we experience a lack of food, will ultimately will not good for the immune system itself, and it will propagate the COVID-19, because people don't have any defense mechanism to fight against the virus. So this is very important. So I think I would like to add to that people are concerned about health. This is understandable, and according to study by Irene, for example, and also Professor Visit mentioning about that. However, what we need to also educate the consumer is that it is very important for the consumer to focus not only the specific ingredient of the food, but on the good nutrition itself for maintaining optimal immune health. So this is very important, because right now there is no clear evidence that a specific food or specific nutrient provide a quick immune fix. So this is, we don't want to provide information that, okay, if you drink this, if you eat this, you will be okay. Okay, so we need to educate that in a way that eating a variety of food with focus on fruit and vegetable, for example, to ensure the completeness of the intake of vitamin and mineral is very important, because this is a key role in supporting the immune system. So I just want to add that, and also to make sure that non-food behavior as well is also very important in maintaining a strong immune system, like regular exercise, and then not smoking, practicing have a good break, and things like that. So relaxing, and so that's also a good things need to be communicated to the consumer. So thank you very much. I just want to add that.
Thank you, Pa Pu. I think we have about like 5 minutes left. And I would like to address again here that the intention of the webinar, that Food Ingredients Asia by Informa Markets, or even ProPack Asia, or even CPHI, that we try to bring the knowledge to the audience, not because we are exhibition organizer and we postpone the show, we cannot do anything, but the intention and objective of doing this is to make the community stay connected up to that information, and also to ensure that there is no misunderstanding, such the coronavirus is not a foodborne disease. We try to educating through this, and also the scare and fear of the coronavirus will mislead for the business disruption by the behavior that consumer have been behave and scare, and the rumors. So we hope that the information channel to our webinar would be the channel to give the right source of information from our panelists who give the expert talk today. So for the last one, I would like to go to one by one of the panelists. If you may say something for the food and beverage industry to encourage them to stay focused, developing products and understand consumer, what would you give the word to them as the enlighten or stimulating and encourage them for better performance? I start with Irene. Irene, lady first.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very broad question, of course, but I think most important now is to really focus on indeed what we discussed, like health, functionality, but also I think what is really a big trend before COVID already, but now even more important, is this education part, like storytelling within new product innovation. So consumers, they actually want to know the story behind the brand, and this influences their purchase decision. They want to know, definitely as a first reason for knowing this story, like what is the benefit, but where are these ingredients coming from? And by reading a story on a product's packaging and just knowing more about it, it enables trust. So I think it's definitely a combination of health, indulgence, really finding this balance, using functional ingredients and really telling the story.
And the next one, Mr. Visit, please.
Okay, to manage well about the new normal life, the social distancing, anything in a new life. Consumers are using more digital to connect, to learn, and to play. And they will continue to use this after the situation. And moving forward, we will see an increase of the virtual workforce, just like we have a webinar like this, as more people work from home and enjoy doing so. So the way of production, selling will change also. The food industry will reconsider their products and service portfolio to respond new consumer behavior, accelerate the move to an intelligent data-driven operating model, see the investment plan for more automation and machine. I think these are the key points that we have to do after this. Thank you.
Yeah, so moving toward the digital will stay with you. The social distancing will never stop our business continuity. So we have way an option to run business. So thank you very much, Kun Visit. And next up, Pa Adi. Pa Adi.
Okay, thank you, Rose. First of all, I would ask all people, in not only in the countries but also all the world, to participating in stop spreading of the pandemic COVID-19. This is very important. The health is number one. And then the second, for the food and beverage industry, have to adapt the new normal, to adapt the consumers' changing behaviors, and also we have to give a priority for food safety to convince the consumers that all the product that we are produced is safe for consumptions, and this is very important to make our food and beverage business trusted by the consumers, and then consumers can no more worry to eat all the F&B products during the COVID pandemic 19, because this is very will last long. We don't know when the pandemic is ending, so that's why we have to adapt all the new normals in our life. Thank you.
So we have to have lecture to the consumer on the change management as well. To understand the change would not make that bad different. So Papu, you can share. You already share a lot, but I think with the disruption, how we move toward the innovation more and more with R&D. Papu?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I think first thing first, I think we have to realize that COVID-19 is not a full-blown disease. So this is the fact, because based on that fact, then we can develop a protocol, guidance how to manage this, because COVID-19 is really a major threat for the public health. So this is a very important one. And we need also to, as a food industry, especially, I would like to have a message, if I could. Number one is to make sure that food industry have a protocol in place to protect their workforce, because this is very important. And number two is trying to enhance the food safety management system to assure that the food they produce is really safe, because if we don't, as I mentioned before, we don't want additional outbreak of this situation. And then another thing regarding food safety is also food industry need to be aware about the possibility of food fraud or food adulteration, because COVID-19 is not only impacting the food industry, but also impacting, for example, inspection agency. So many inspection agencies around the world try to reduce the frequency because of the risk, and this condition can provide opportunity for criminal, for people with bad intention to do food fraud, to do the food adulteration. So that's a very important things that need to be aware of, because food industry is ultimately the one that are responsible for their ingredient, for example, or any other raw material. And lastly, I think the potential of developing food, functional food around Asia especially is very big. So we need to work together on not only food industry, but also academia and government to develop environment ecosystem that are conducive for the development of functional food. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. So come to our last speaker, Dr. Pisit.
Okay. First of all, I have to say thank you for Informal Market to organize this event, because we not only have the meeting online, but we try to build up the community of learning for the food industry. This is a very good idea and very important things, because this time is a time of change and the wind of change that we have to talking about the next normal of food and beverage industry. And this time I believe for 3 key success factors for food and beverage. Okay, the first one is a safety and healthy product, because your consumer, they concern more about the safety and healthy at this time for the pandemic. So the food industry have to manage the risk or the risk management. We can manage everything for our consumer. The second one is lean management. Something is necessary, you can stay there. But if something not necessary, you can lean it, okay, drop it, and make it as a sustainability way to do that way, okay, for your business. Because you have to focus on your customer and expand your opportunity. And the third one is a technology adoption, as Kun Visit try to encourage you to have the equipment or the automation to use for something risk, okay, for example, like human capital and something you can do the technological adoption. And together with the renew your business model to catch up your opportunity for get the new way of your business as well. Okay, thank you very much, Kun Rose.
So I would like to say thank you to all panelists, Telemagazine. Thank you very much for staying with us today. And thank you for the all audience for this session. And you're gonna see our next session on RTE. What is the ready to eat, ready to cook products, to understand about the update, ready to cook, ready to eat product industry on 24th of July. Stay tuned with us. You can watch on the development of ready to eat, ready to cook, which is covering on the packaging, ingredients, and more of the stuff related to how to marketing it. So today I am very pleased to say that 300 audience stay with us till now. Thank you very much and สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you, Ross. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Pisit, Mr. Pisit.
Thank you, everybody.
Iren,